First, take a moment to get centered in the seat and close your eyes. Bring the tongue to the upper palate, hands relaxed, palms open. As you're breathing and you exhale, set your mind into the perineum, to your pelvic floor, which is right above the perineum. And as you inhale, feel that light tone of the perineum, drawing back the pit of your belly. Scoop it back towards the spine, just gently. Feel the expansion across your kidneys, perhaps to the heart. And exhale, breathe out. Nice long exhalation. Again, get centered in the seat. Inhale. Feel the response, the tongue in the upper palate. And exhale, breathe all the way back down to the C point, to the pelvic floor. And breathe in again, paying particular attention to the lowest spot on the abdomen, drawing this back and up. Not holding it hard, but it's an invitation. 2 more breaths. I like to call these the psoas points, or the POA, the pit of the abdomen. You can think of it as your lowest part of the belly, below the navel and above the pubic bone. The fibers that we're connecting to are the transverse abdominis, one of the most epic abdominal muscles, the girdle muscle, and the lower fibers of that muscle, tone and support, rather than pushing out. So again, welcome for joining. Today, we'll keep that focus, our center. Perhaps that could be the intention of the practice today, that we keep returning to the mula point, the seed point, or the pelvic floor, and the pit of the abdomen. And we'll use these cues to help stabilize the pelvis, to maintain just awareness and lift throughout, while we access the other parts of our body that need some attention and still feel real secure and supported in your fire pit. Go ahead and release, straighten out the legs, coming onto the tops of the feet. Sit down onto the heels hooked right under the ishiotuberosities. And we'll begin here. And the breath is inhaling and exhaling out the nose with your awareness traveling up and down the spine, or up and down the central channel of you. Okay, 5 breaths total. The inhalation, allow the roots of your seat to take shape, and the lift and the tone of the pelvic floor. So you're talking to both directions with your inhalation and exhalation. They both support each other. It's a full 5 breaths here. Tops of the feet spreading. Tailbone is heavy. Readjust the head if it's shooting forward, drawing the chin back and in, the ears back over the shoulders. Last breath. Then release, fold forward, and take the second position here. We're working in an asana called Vajra or Vajrasana. Rake your toes forward. Now we'll focus on stretching the fascia of the bottom of the foot. Sit tall. Now, with your 5 breaths here, bring your fingers to the front ribs, your floating front ribs, the lower ribs. And when you exhale, allow them to melt in and refocus on the inhale, the drawing back of the pit of the belly, the exhale, maintaining this awareness, not pressing out the belly. The inhale, again, how is it shaping the spine? 2 more breaths here from your feet, your knees rooting, pit of the abdomen lifted. Exhaling, floating ribs melting into the front body. Last breath here. And exhaling, release, rock forward. You can straighten out the legs quickly, tone the legs, and then release back down. Cross the right foot in front of the left, the heel in front of the left heel. Take your time. Inhale, rock forward, uncross, Recross the opposite way and exhale, sit back and down. Just invite this pressure, feel the lower legs communicating. Inhale, rock up, switch, exhale down. When you rock up forward, do not flare the ribs. Pit of the belly, switch, and exhale. Now we'll focus in the seated position. Inhale last time, right foot on top, hook in front of the heels, sit back and down, take your breath in, then exhale, slide your hands down to the knees, lean forward to root the knees into the ground, and take the breath and feel the flexion of the body, a bit rounding of the spine, while you're pressing your hands down. In breathing, gaze towards your navel. Focus on clearing the lower leg and maintaining awareness from the pelvic floor to the pit of the abdomen. After 5 breaths, use the inhalation to lift the head, rock forward, squeeze the heels towards the bottom, switch, and release sitting back down. Make any adjustment you need to. Bring the knees as close together as possible. Take your breath in. That left knee might be off the ground right now, no problem. As you exhale, lean forward to put both knees down, both hands. Take breath in. Find the pit of the belly, find the pelvic floor in the mind, and exhaling, you're staying here, starting to really focus on clearing the lower leg. You are in just a slight flexion position, rounded forward. Not too much, just enough to really focus on the pit lifted and clearing the lower leg. Then inhale, you'll unlock the chin, and exhale, release, and release the feet. Okay, coming up to standing. Continuing with the feet, hands on your hips. The fingers are just going to rest right on the frontal hip bones. Your thumbs can go around the rim of the pelvis. And we'll just keep the hands there with the heart really lifted. Okay, at any time you need to check your front ribs, bring them in. What we're doing is attempting to stand up taller and not allowing the front ribs to flare out, nor letting the butt flare out in response. Okay, we want to let the tailbone be nice and heavy. We're not overly tucking. We're just allowing this awareness of the torso and pelvis come together and help us stack us up. Okay, so while we're working on the feet, be aware of your core, hands on your hips or hands on your floating ribs. Take a breath in and transfer your weight to your left foot. Point your right foot back and exhale. Press down gently. Inhale, bend the knees. Pick up the pit of the belly and exhale, rise. You could do this either breath, but do it with breath. Just stretching the top of the foot, but also warming up your standing leg. That's just 3 times, and switch. Top of the other foot, hands on the hips, draw the chin back and in, check belly, take breath, bend your standing knee. Inhale, rise up. Exhale and down. You temper it. Inhaling, how much weight do you want to have? Keep yourself elongated here. Front ribs down. Okay, switch. Transfer weight and roll the foot. Just 3 circles and switch. 1, 2, focus on the foot, let everything else follow. Other side. 1, 2, 3, switch directions. 1, 2, and 3. Take breath in, come up onto the toes. Feel the calf engage. Now stand taller in the standing leg, and then exhale, heel down. Inhale, switch. Feel the calf engage. Spread the toes and exhale. Inhale, up, feel calf engage, and exhale down. Inhale and exhale. Inhale up and exhale. Inhale to the heel. Pull the right foot back. Use the heel drive and exhale. Plant down and spread. Inhale left. Exhale down. Inhale, pick up the foot. Leave the heel on the ground though. And exhale, spread. Inhale. pit of the belly, exhale, chin back and in, inhale right. Exhale, spread the ball mounds down, inhale left. Feel the muscles of your thigh engage, exhale. Last set, inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale, spread down. Transfer your weight to your left foot and inhale, lift the knee up to the height of your hip if possible, if not lower, but maybe to the height of the hip. Pull back the head back, stand tall, feel your kneecap lift, and then set down. Switch sides, inhale, stand tall, kneecap lifted, arches lifted, picking up the knee, maybe to the height of the hip, and then exhale. Now add movement. Inhale, transfer to the left, lift up the right, and exhale. Start to circle 3 times the shin bones, and then the other way 3 times. Then go to the knee 3 times, small. Stand tall, switch directions 3 times, small. Stand tall, find the pit. Make this bigger now, 3 times bigger with breath. Tongue on the upper palate. Check your ribs. Cross the body, open. Last one, cross the body, open, then switch directions. Restand, inhaling. Release down, transfer, root. Inhale, lift left. And exhaling, begin. 3 circles of the lower leg, 3 circles the other direction. Then the knee, 3 circles small. Standing taller and taller. 3 circles, other direction, small. And then big. Out to the side, feel the bottom engage. Circle down, cross, inhale. Be really aware what your core is doing. Make the leg move. Make the bottom work to open it. Switch directions. Crossing the body, stand tall. Draw down, pull up. Cross the body, stand tall, and release. Just feel. Feel the legs. Take breath in and out. One more breath in and out. Warming up the big muscles of the legs, being able to rebound off of the floor and stay really connected to the core at the same time. These steps will move into asana, or into posture, with your breath. I like to take the inhalation when I step because the pelvic floor is exposed, and to allow the natural tone of the pelvic floor to stay lifted. And the exhalation, we push off to come back to center and zip up. This version of triangle keeps the pelvis stable and allows us to focus on the thoracic spine, laterally bending. So it's a wonderful way to open up the side body, but to keep the pelvis quite still and stable. Inhale, step open the feet, hands on your hips. Feel them, feel the position they're facing forward, and exhale. Use the breath and feel the legs enliven like they're pulling towards each other. And when you're ready, pick up your right foot, pivot on the heel, and plant the foot down, pointing it straight out to the side. Now feel the leg in this position. It's turning out. Inhale, pick up the foot and turn. Spinning the foot up and planting it, lifting up the foot and spinning from the heel and putting the foot back down. Okay, do that on the other side. Inhaling, lift, turn, and exhale, plant. Inhale, lift, turn, and exhale, plant. Inhale, lift, turn, exhale. Now after you get the rotation of the leg going, then you want to feel it in a stable position. So go back to the right and inhale, pivot on the heel, and exhale. Your next inhalation, draw the feet towards each other and feel the legs really turn on. Feel your bottom turn on and hug your sacrum. Okay? And then release. Pivot, go to the other side. Pivot, plant, inhale, draw the feet towards each other. Feel the base of your spine, and then soften and go to the other side. So in this way, when we turn on the legs and turn on the butt, we're going to keep the pelvis in a same position. It's not going to tilt to the side. This will allow you to stay really aware of the pit of your belly. It'll give you added benefit of keeping the front ribs floating down while you go into a lateral fold. So here we go. Shake out the legs a little bit. Take breath in, pivot on the right heel, and exhale, get nice and grounded. Take breath in, hug the bum to the sacrum, turn on the legs, and exhale, tilt the torso to the side. Inhale, come up, and exhale, tilt the torso to the side. Inhale, come up, pelvic floor rebound, exhaling, and just feel the side body tilting. Put the hands behind the head, the head back into the hands, floating ribs down, and now do the movement. Take breath in, hug the bottom, exhaling, side bending, till maybe your right elbow points down, left elbow points up. Inhale, press the head into your hands, come up, and exhale, return. Do not tilt the pelvis, focus on the side body. Inhale up and exhale. Now we'll hold for 3 breaths. Release the bottom hand to your leg wherever it lands. Release the top hand towards the ceiling. Turn the gaze, drop the chin down a little bit, hug the legs in towards each other. Pit of the belly. Then inhale, come on up. And exhale, bend your right leg, rebound. And let's take the second side. Inhale, pivot. Exhale, plant. Inhale, pick up the pit of the belly. Stabilize the pelvis. Exhale, side bending. Just the torso, the head. Inhale, come up. Exhale. You can use your fingers on the low belly to remind it to stay lifted. Inhale. Exhaling. Inhaling, hands behind the head, elbows wide, press the head into the hands, exhaling. Keep the elbows pulling away from each other gently. Inhale up, not letting the pelvis tilt. Exhaling. Inhaling. Keep the head and hands connecting. Exhaling, Intertrikonasana. Plant the hand. Reach the other arm straight up. Turn your gaze to the thumb. 3 breaths. And inhale, rise. Bring your foot with you, pivot on the heel, and exhale, hands on your hips. Walk your feet in, heel, toe. These internal rotation, feel your legs going into the external rotation. Internal rotation, neutral, good. Now we'll take Parshva Konasana, side angle. This will really focus on an open hip position, the inner groin line opening, and building strength to hold it without losing, again, the awareness in the pit of the abdomen, our overall focus of lengthening, of restabilizing and getting strong in the core while establishing a good relationship with the hips and the legs, understanding. Okay, so inhale, please step out. Pivot on the right heel. And exhaling, try turning your hips to face the long edge of your mat. Take breath in, back knee is pointing straight. Bend the knee. As you inhale, draw the feet towards each other and straighten the legs. Exhaling, bend the knee. Inhaling, coming up. You can also switch the breath. If it feels more stable for you, go ahead and turn on the other side. Use the opposite breath. So the inhalation, while you bend your knee and pull the feet in towards each other. Then the exhalation, returning back up. Very active in the bottom. Exhale up. Tone. Inhale, keep the hips open. And exhale. So the way that you move in and out of these lunges, please take into consideration. In the yoga asana practice, we usually take the exhalation to enter a posture. to enter the presentation where we're going to stay and work. And we use the inhalation to come up and out of it. But you can always reverse the breaths. The main thing is that the awareness isn't left. It doesn't leave the perineum and the pelvic floor, the heart, the upper palate, the continual revisit of the Sushumna and the central channel. The legs, you can walk them in if you want, and then walk them back out. This is a little bit wider of a position, but be mindful that you're not tilting the pelvis forward and sticking out your bottom, that your tailbone is heavy. Okay? You have awareness, a lift in the pit. Exhale all your breath. Inhale, chin down and in, lift through the arms, pivot on the right heel. Exhale, bend the knee. You could go as low as the thigh bone, coming parallel to the ground, but do not lose the pelvis. Take breath in and out here, keeping your pelvis in open position. And then exhale, bring your forearm onto your thigh. Keep feeling the bottom, the generation of energy, the stabilization of your back. Floating ribs, you can always remind them while you're really invigorating your legs. After 3 to 5 breaths, breathe yourself up. Turn the feet opposite, left foot out, hands on the hips. You can feel this position, the open hip position. Feel the stability that happens when you turn on your bottom. Okay? Release a little bit when you inhale, preparing. Then take your breath, whether it's the inhale or the exhale, to bend the knee and check your alignment. See that the hips are turned and open, bottom is turned on. Take breath in, lift the arms, chin back and in. Exhaling, tilt the body to the side. Swing the top arm past the ear. Turn the head to gaze up towards your fingers. Do not let your floating ribs flare out. Keep pulling back the pit of the belly. Knees are pulling back. Use your inhalation to rise. Straighten your leg, pivot back in, and exhale, hands on your hips. Walk in, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, and heel toe. Okay. Okay, the next step that we'll do is forward, is straight forward. Hands on the hips, and keep realigning the body when you're standing. Just notice if anything starts to fold forward. Come upright, put the weight right in front of your heels. Take a breath in, feet together, and exhale. How do you want to step? I would normally inhale to give support to the pelvic floor, to feel like the Kegel energy while I'm stepping forward, so there's a lot of support in the tone. But I want you to feel this for your practice. This is quite powerful to push off. I do it on an exhale. Inhale. Exhale. This can be really small. After you step, what you can do is work on the dropping down, nice and slow. So this is a dropping straight down, however low you want to, with the bottom engaged. Then you rise up and you push off and rejoin. Or it can be small, just stepping, because the bottom has to be awakened and used. Okay, think of a heavy tailbone, lifted pit of the belly, hands on the hips. Take breath in and exhale. And now breathing your way through this. Here we go. How down do you want to go? You can release your arms if you want to. You could lift them up, but anything that takes the arms away from the core requires even more attention in your abdomen, in your core, in the whole line. So once you have warmed up this, stepping forward and pushing back, then we're going to go to hold it so we can emphasize more what's going on and breathe into it. So take your breath, zip up, right foot first, breathing your way into the step. Then as you're ready, lowering down, knee onto the ground. Back up until you're at a 90-degree angle in the front knee and a 90-degree angle in the back knee. If you want to continue to stretch open the fascia of your feet like this, curled toes under, please feel free to do so. It's really nice. And you can also switch back to the top of the foot. Both equally important, both a root. So whatever you're doing with your foot, keep it active. And here we go. Take breath in, pull back the pit of the belly, heavy, lift up the left arm, and exhale, small side bend to the right. Keep your bottom engaged. Inhale, come up to center, bottom engaged, slight posterior pelvic tilt. Exhale, lean to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, lean to the right, butt engaged. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Keep the bottom engaged, foot rooted, knee rooted. Inhale and exhale. Front ribs in. Inhaling and exhaling, holding. Stay in the side position. Take a breath in. Feel your front ribs down in the front body and let the kidneys, the back body, the butt do some work, some spreading, allowing your front to open. Inhale, hands on your hips. Take breath in and out and pick yourself up. Push yourself back to the starting position. Here we go, other side. Stepping out with breath, lowering down to your 90-90 position. Toes curled under or top of the foot on the floor, whatever you did for your other side. Hips are balanced and level. Heel right underneath your knee. Inhale, lift up the right arm. Tone the right butt. Find the posterior pelvic tilt. As you exhale, it's a lateral fold to the left. Right arm on top. Inhale, come up to center. Exhale, lateral fold to the left. Bottom engaged. Inhale up. Exhale. Feel your foot rooting, pit of the belly, and live. Feel the bend. Inhaling and holding on this one. Front ribs. Drop them into the torso. Reach the fingertips, especially through the pinky. And inhale, come on up. Exhale, hands on the hips. Take breath in, pick up when you're ready, and press back to your standing position. And release. Just take a moment to feel that. So we did the front step. We did a side step just to get used to that again, to the rebound action of it. Of course, we can go much wider and longer and challenge it. But in the beginning, let's start small. Build the strength to push back. Now we'll do the back step from a squatting position. It can start real small. Knees bent, feet hip width apart. You could lean over if you feel like the pit can really stay lifted, front ribs in. Okay, the step is simply stepping the foot back and coming back into the squat. Okay, chin stays in, the head's not dropped forward. If you drop your head forward, it really loses the belly. So bring the chin in, lengthen through the crown. Decide if you're going to stay really upright. It won't be as deep of a squat. Or if you want to go down a little bit lower. Okay, up to you. Hands, reminders. Just let them be helpful for you. They don't have to hold a lot of tension. Just stepping back and stepping forward. Stepping back and stepping forward. Focused on the torso shape not changing, but making the legs do the work. And you can take this breath. I try and take 10 breaths here. Doing equal pattern of breath on each side. Check in with front ribs with the chin, heavy tailbone. And then when you're done, Stand up, stand tall, draw your chin back and in, and just feel. Big breath in and out. Big breath right into the upper chest, the armpit chest, and the backs of your armpits. Into the upper chest, the armpit chest, and the backs of your armpits. Now I'll come down onto the back and focus on movements for the hips, increasing their range of motion and just overall understanding the positions. Find your neutral spine while you're laying on your back. Then with your breath, allow it to take a posterior pelvic tilt, a tiny bit of roundness in the low back, and just kind of taking away the natural arch of the low back and gluing your low back to the ground. So on the low belly, when we take the breath in, let's try and resist puffing that belly out. It's nice to have your back on the floor to feel this connection right here. You could have an easeful conversation while your transverse abdominis and other abdominal muscles help you do this work. So you're just laying here and you're breathing your low back into the ground. And this is going to put the hips into a stabilized place. Your legs to drop in one at a time with your breath. The inhale helps to lift, draw back the pit, and it does the opposite for the leg. The leg, you can think of spinning it internally and moving the thigh bone towards the knee as the pit goes in the opposite direction. So you have this great traction capacity. You can get a lot of blood flow into the hips. And also right now you're seeing how much can your femur bone spin internally, spin towards the midline without rocking off of your pelvis. So we're keeping the sacrum on the ground. We're not letting the whole hip roll over. Not yet. So after you do a good set, then allow movement in the pelvis to walk your pelvis towards your heels. So everything about the upper body is being dragged by the power of your hips, your hamstrings. Okay? You'll stop when you cannot go forward anymore. Okay, so with an exhalation, I usually rock and start it. The inhalation to lift and bring the pit of the belly back and in to roll back to center, and exhale other side. What happens is the sit bone's picking up and it's shifting forward if you're doing the traction with your leg. So when you rock back down, that sit bone is further away from your head than it was before. You've moved. So here when you rock, let the thigh bone traction, pull, that sit bone goes down. So you're slowly starting to walk towards your heels. You have to shift your shoulders and allow yourself to be pulled. And you'll get to a place where you're done. And that's where I want you to stop. So I'm going to stop on the left side just for the camera here. Stop at your deeper flexion of the knee. The front ribs are down. And if you've come too far, if you've come too close in, you need to make sure that your knee's not feeling any pain here, but you're actually focusing on the thigh bone spinning in the lift. Then you come up and do your other side. Make sure that you're breathing while you're moving in and out of this posture. The internal rotation of the thigh bone. I'll move this leg so you can see. Pulling back the pit of the belly, but stretching through the thigh, but pulling back the pit. And release. Just feel for a moment. Start to soften that hold on the pit of the belly, that drawing back to allow your pelvis to go back into neutral, feeling your low back come off the ground. Then while you're breathing, I'd like you to move your low back onto the ground and then release back into neutral. I use an inhalation to draw back the pit of the belly to feel the tone and lift in my perineum and the pelvic floor, and to then do muscle work to posterior pelvic tilt and then release it back down. So my inhale is a posterior and my exhale is a release back to neutral. Do this 3 more times, but you can always switch the breath. Now the next position that we're going to do, knees open out to the side. So you walk your feet in, open up the knees, and first just get settled and get the movements of the legs situated. Let's just feel what is happening. As you exhale, bring your knees together and touch, squeeze them. Inhale, find the pit of your belly, shift back into that slight posterior pelvic tilt, and open the legs, draw the knees towards the floor. Exhale, zip it back up, do not let go of the pelvis. Inhale, open, draw the knees towards the ground, feel the bottom engage to help you do that, and then exhale, squeeze the knees together, floating ribs down. Inhaling, open, squeeze the bum, both sides even, exhale, knees together. Inhale, open, squeeze the bum, both sides, and release, open. Now let's release from that pose now. Okay, straighten out the legs, bend your right knee, hook the right foot into the back of the left knee as you twist. Turn your knee to the left, turn your head to the right. Press your straight leg even straighter. Press the thigh bone back so that you can really pull your foot against the back of the knee. Okay, you're aware of your abdomen. You're focusing now on opening across your chest. Okay, opening across the heart. Pull the foot into the knee, press the knee back through the entire leg, finding your gaze finally to the fingers of your right hand. Then inhale, come back to center, pull back the pit, and exhale, release. Okay, set your pelvis up straight again. Second side, inhale, bend your left knee, hook it right next to the right knee, and exhale. As you twist to the right, make the foot and the leg connect. You can stack your hips up. Okay. Pull the foot into the leg as you invigorate that leg. Turning your gaze to your left hand, eventually through your breath. Make sure that the pit of the belly, the pelvic floor, is part of your path, part of what you're breathing in awareness. Tongue in the upper palate helps us stay calm, keeps us nice open feeling in the back of the throat. And come back through center, roll onto the back. And exhale, set yourself up back to neutral. And we'll take another movement just to feel the power of the back body before we take an opening for the heart, for the chest. Okay, bend the knees, please. Take breath in. Set the tone of the pelvic floor, the pit of the belly. And exhale, press the feet down. Lift the hips up, but stay in a bit of posterior pelvic tilt. Inhale, let yourself come back down, but don't let go all the way. Exhale, express the hips straight up again. Feel the tone of the bottom. Inhale, roll your mid back, your low back, put it on the ground, and exhale, press back up. Okay, inhale, mid back up. Inhale, you get the picture, really feel that grounding. Exhaling, you're pressing up. Inhaling, roll back down. Exhale, press up. You can work on the quick contraction. Inhaling, feel a little bit of softening, and then exhale, really engage quickly the butt and see if the hips can drive up quite fast. Inhaling, roll down, set the butt, let it relax a little bit, then exhale, quick fire, lift up. You can work your way to 20 of these in a row and vary the speed, especially on your way down with the breath you're using to really focus on rolling the back down and popping back up. This is done with your breath. And release. Take your feet off the ground. Bring your knees to your chest and wide. Keep belly drawing back and in. Let the flesh of the bottom feel the stretch. And release back down. Cross the right foot over the left. Draw back again the pit of the belly. This will be your choice when we come down each time. If you want to relax the butt and feel the release of the pelvis, go ahead. If you want to maintain a little bit more firmness there, you can. Biggest thing is I want you to connect with the spine, and I want you to connect with the butt. The muscles under your butt. The movement of this knee, the right one opening away from you. Bottom knee. Okay, take breath in. Bottom foot points straight forward. It's in the line of the hip. Hands on your hip bones, and exhale. Lift the hips up and press the shin bone down into the knee and try to lift that right and left hip until they're balanced. Okay, as you lower down, do it with breath. And as you rise up, do it with breath. I would normally inhale and roll down and feel that. And exhale with a strong breath, drive the hips up. But you could also use this as your inhale to lift up and exhale rolling down. Both sides of the body are working on the way up and on the way down. Most important thing is that you're staying very connected to your pelvic floor. Pit of the, you could work 10 of these in a row and then directly switch into your other side. I'll show you how you'll switch. Stay up, drive your elbows into the ground for some extra support, release the leg, straighten it up to the ceiling. Invite your left hip to lift, engaging the bottom. Then bend your right knee, put it down to the floor, cross your left over, still feeling the lift. So you could do it while you're up in the air and call upon more work on the bottom, or lower down and set up your legs. As you're ready, begin your set of 10 here. Chin is a little down. It's not popping up. Movements are done with breath. You have to really stay focused as you lift. Take your gaze down your torso so you can see. Right and left hips, same height. This is an externally rotated top leg. Holding at your last one. Feel the bottom engage. Direct, release your left knee. Lift it, lift that leg straight up. Press the right foot into the ground and then release. Lower all the way down and let go. Let's feel. Big breath in and out. Knee to chest if you'd like to take a quick release. With knee to chest, keep your bottom leg straight, knee pointing up. Take a nice squeeze, directing that thigh into your body. Press your bottom leg thigh down and away from you and straight down into the ground as well. And then release. Take your other side like you're standing on your right leg. Bring your left knee up, not letting go of the right knee. Keep it straight. Find the pit of the belly and release. Okay, coming onto the side body, left side, stacking up the hips, stacking up the legs, toning the bottom a little bit to move the sacrum into the body. You can put a blanket underneath your head. You could prop your head up on your arm, okay? Bend the knees. Get your hips aligned. Put your right hand on the top hip and feel the muscle on the side of your hip engage. And then come back down. And do this and really focus and say, hey, bottom, you work first and then to lift the knee. So take the action from here, from the butt, feel the muscle, opening those legs or opening the top leg away from your bottom leg. You've taken the knee back, feel the muscle, and release down. Go ahead and come up and switch to your other side. Remember the sensation that you're feeling right now as we're doing these clams. Focusing on the outer hip, hand on the outer hip when you're ready. It's nice and slow. Breath is through the nose. Pit of the belly is drawn back. You're not in an arch position, so do not stick your butt out. Pull back the pit. Long tail. Bring in your floating ribs and do this work. Make sure that you're not arching without knowing while you're laying on your side body. Keep palpating. You should be able to tell which side is stronger, which side has more range of motion, the different shape of your butt flesh, or it might be completely balanced. After you've done 10, or you're on your own, if you want to do 20 and repeat it, do 3 sets of them, you can. We'll take our last big deep work for the bottom, okay, for your hips. So coming onto your back, this Buddha Konasana, or bound ankle position, is what we'll use to lift the hips up. And we just warmed up the sides individually. Now let's do the work with both legs open. So with your feet together, take breath in, pull back the pit of the belly, curl back, and as you exhale, lift the hips up. Inhale, coming back down, and exhale, lift up. Inhale, back down, exhale up, inhale, roll back down, and stop before your knees want to come up. Try to keep the knees pulling open away from each other. Pause and feel the bottom, feel what's working, what's drawing this external rotation. Low belly is not puffing out, your ribs are down, and then lower back down. So after a full set of those, inhaling, bring your knees together, squeeze the knees towards each other, into each other as you walk your feet out. Then breath in and let the back flood. Let the back of the pelvis feel really wide. Sacrum on the ground. Last position for the chest, set to Bandha Sarvangasana. It's a back bend that focuses on the thoracic spine. So your 12 ribs that attach to those 12 vertebrae, the thoracic spine, that's where we're going to be breathing our awareness into now. So we get a nice flood before the end, your rest. Walk the feet so they're hip width apart. Take the arms straight down by your sides, and I'd like to press the index finger and thumb straight down, both fingers, and feel the back, the upper back spread. So again, find your arms straight down by your sides. The index finger and the thumb are rooted, and the arms are straight, and they're quite alive. Find the breath and use it to lift your hips up. Interlock the hands underneath you. Don't let your pit of the belly go. Just rock to one side, roll the shoulder under, rock to the other side. Now, the focus must be in getting the breath up to the collarbones and expanding the heart area, not on flaring the ribs, okay, but really the floating ribs, really feeling the breath change the shape of the thoracic cavity. Let's use it to get into the muscles right on your chest, right in front of your armpit. Okay, that's where you're breathing here. And it's between 5 to 10 breaths. Take the breath to the heart. Let it spread the sternum towards the chin. Keep the pit of the belly on call. The tongue on the upper palate. You are lifting the hips, but you can always release them down a little bit and pick them back up. Whatever allows you to really focus on the breath. One more here. And then releasing, you'll undo the hands, undo the shoulders. Keep breathing as you roll yourself down to the ground and let go of the legs, the arms. To set yourself by lifting up the head, Looking down the body, joining your legs, inner ankle bone, sides of your big toes. Move the flesh away from your sacrum. Line up pubic bone in your sternum, your chest bone. Lay down. See that the chin is not popping up. Bring it down a little bit. And then arms down by your sides. Just feel this enlivened position first. Pressing your hands down, take your breath in. Find the inner ankle, the sides of your big toes. And then when you're ready, you exhale, you relax. Let your palms turn up. Drop the legs. Make as little movements as necessary. And let this take you right into rest. Drop the jaw, the lower jaw away from the upper jaw. Relaxing the eyes, closing them. Begin to witness your breath, moving on its own, in and out the nose. Release the bones down to the ground. Allow the abdomen to soften. Deepen the breath. Drop it down into the body. Your toes wiggle. Inhaling, bending your knees. Reach your right arm over the head. And exhale, roll to the right side. Bringing yourself up to seated. And just take a moment to sit, to feel yourself align with ground and sky. Namaste. And taking a moment to acknowledge you, practitioner, and also to acknowledge the place where we stay. Let's bow into the earth, to the practice. Have a fabulous day. Aloha.